Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to engage with these critical topics at the intersection of technology and public policy. Today, I'll walk you through what large language models, commonly referred to as LLMs, actually are, how they work at a high level, and most importantly, why they matter for governance, society, and the future of digital infrastructure. Let's begin with the basics. What is a large language model? A large language model is a type of artificial intelligence system that has been trained to understand and generate human language. These models are large not only in terms of their capabilities, but also in the volume of data they are trained on and the complexity of their internal architecture. When we talk about LLMs, we're referring to systems like OpenAI's GPT models, Google's BERT, Meta's Llama, and others. These models have learned to read, analyze, and produce human-like text by processing massive datasets, often comprising books, articles, websites, code, and other public internet content. In simple terms, LLMs predict and generate words by identifying patterns in the text they were trained on. They don't think or understand in the human sense, but their ability to mimic coherent language can make it feel like they do. Why are they large? The term large in LLMs refers to two things. First, the size of the dataset. These models are trained on hundreds of billions of words, ranging from literature and news to technical manuals and social media posts. Second, the number of parameters. Think of parameters as internal switches that help the model make predictions. The latest models often have hundreds of billions of these parameters. The more parameters, the more nuanced and sophisticated the language output. But size isn't everything. While bigger models tend to perform better, efficiency, quality of training data, and fine-tuning also play key roles. How do they work? Let's take a very high-level look at how an LLM works. At the heart of most modern LLMs is something called the Transformer Architecture, a technical breakthrough introduced by researchers at Google in 2017. This architecture allows the model to analyze the relationships between words in a sentence all at once, rather than one at a time. It can pay attention to different parts of a sentence or paragraph, helping it understand context more effectively. The model is trained using a process called unsupervised learning, which means it digests vast amounts of text and learns to predict the next word in a sentence. For example, given the phrase "the cat sat on the underscore," the model learns that "mat" is a likely next word. Over time, the model builds a statistical understanding of language, grammar, meaning, structure, even tone. When you interact with a chatbot or AI assistant powered by an LLM, what it's doing is predicting the most probable sequence of words in response to your input, based on that statistical training. Real-world capabilities. So, what can these models actually do? Text generation. LLMs can write essays, summarize documents, generate news articles, or compose poetry. Translation. They can convert text between dozens of languages. Question answering. They can find answers to factual queries, or help brainstorm creative ideas. Coding. Many LLMs can write and debug computer code, which is revolutionizing software development. Conversation. They can hold dialogues, power chatbots, or assist in customer service. This versatility makes LLMs powerful tools not just in tech, but across education, healthcare, business, and government. Limitations and risks. However, it's essential to understand what LLMs can't do, or where they fall short. First, they don't truly understand the world. They don't have beliefs, common sense, or first-hand experience. They only mimic understanding based on statistical patterns in text. Second, they can hallucinate. That is, they may generate plausible-sounding but entirely false information. For example, they might fabricate a quote, misstate a law, or invent a statistic. This is particularly concerning in legal, medical, or public policy settings. Third, LLMs can reflect and amplify biases. Because they are trained on real-world text, they absorb societal biases related to race, gender, or ideology. This makes it critical to build safeguards and transparency into any deployment. Finally, these models are computationally expensive. Training them takes massive energy and resources, raising questions about sustainability and access. Policy implications. Now, why should you, as policymakers, care about LLMs? First, because they are becoming foundational to digital infrastructure. From smart assistants to content moderation to education tools, LLMs are being embedded into everyday services. Second, they raise novel regulatory questions. Accountability. If an LLM gives harmful advice, who is responsible, the developer, the platform, or the user? Transparency. Should users know when they are interacting with AI? Should the model's training data or design be disclosed? Data governance. These models are trained on internet-scale data. Do individuals have rights over content they posted online that was used to train AI? Workforce impact. As LLMs automate tasks like writing, coding, or translation, how should we prepare for shifts in employment and skill needs? Third, LLMs challenge our traditional information ecosystems. They can generate synthetic content at scale, articles, images, even deepfakes, which raises risks for misinformation, election interference, and public trust. In short, these are not just technical tools. They are policy-shaping technologies. What should policymakers do? So, how can governments and public institutions respond? Educate and build capacity. Understanding LLMs is no longer optional. Agencies need internal expertise and training to assess AI tools critically. Promote responsible development. Encourage standards around data ethics, fairness, and explainability. Public-private partnerships can play a key role here. Invest in public sector AI. Don't leave innovation solely to large tech companies. Publicly funded, transparent models, especially in local languages, can promote inclusion and equity. Update legal frameworks. Review intellectual property laws, liability norms, and consumer protection standards in light of generative AI. Support AI literacy, from schools to civil servants to the general public. Raising awareness is essential to responsible use. Closing thoughts. To summarize, large language models are one of the most impactful digital technologies of our time. They offer enormous potential for productivity, communication, and innovation. But they also bring significant risks and governance challenges. As policymakers, your role is crucial in shaping the frameworks, legal, ethical, and economic, that will ensure these tools serve the public good. Thank you. I'm happy to take your questions and continue the discussion.